Hi, my name is Jan. I'm here to discuss frontotemporal degeneration, or sometimes called early-onset dementia, for people in their 40s through their 80s, and often happens a lot in younger people, even in teenage years. My brother was recently diagnosed with this. It's abbreviated FTD. And this is just a channel where I'm going to tell you about what's happening to our family and how it's affecting us, but more so the things that are affecting my brother-in-law. I'm going to call him Doug. I'm not going to share his full name. I don't want to embarrass him in any way or our family. So that's all this channel is going to be about, things that are happening to him, the things that they say will happen to him in the next few years. So this is just a little introductory. What is FTD? Like Alzheimer's, it's you lose your memories, you lose function in your body, but it affects the frontal lobe and the temporal lobes of your brain, and your brain actually is going away. I'm not sure the medical diagnoses. There are millions of videos with medical doctors talking about what's happening. I'm going to talk about the reality side for people like us who know something's happening but don't know exactly why it's happening or what exactly is happening inside the brain. This is not meant for medical diagnoses. This is just the diagnosis that was given to my brother-in-law, and I just want to help other people understand it better. So the backstory is Doug likes to go for walks every day. He loves a schedule. He gets up and he has between 5 and 10 glasses of tea each day. And then around 10:30, 11 o'clock, he has his once a day meal. It's usually a ginormous meal, like a whole family pack of stuffed crab stuffed salmon from Costco. He'll buy the large tray of those, and it's meant for a family of 4 to 6 people, and he'll eat the entire tray. There won't be any vegetables with it. There won't be any nothing else. He drinks a bottle of wine with his meal, his one meal. Then he goes for a walk. Then he plays on his iPad a little bit. Then he takes a nap. Then he plays some more on his iPad. Then he drinks another bottle of wine. And within the last couple of years, he started drinking mail order beer, like these crafted beers from different distilleries around the country, probably. And quite frankly, he was pretty much drunk all day, every day. But he functioned very well. His walks were uneventful until recently. We didn't realize he had any kind of dementia. We thought he was depressed. We thought he was just being antisocial because he thought we were being judgmental to him for his activities, which we thought were bizarre. He lost his job about 4 or 5 years ago. He beat up a car with the baseball bat because they scratched his car. We're not sure if that's why he was fired from his job, but he was let go, which means he lost his insurance. Shortly thereafter, his father died, and we think that kind of, midlife crisis. He was in his 50s, so we just thought, well, his bizarre behavior was because of midlife crisis, and so we thought he was just needing some time off. Then he, of course, lost all his insurance. He got divorced. His spouse divorced him after being together for 22 years or so, largely due to his lack of finding a new job, lack of supporting the family, lack of participating with the family in anything that they used to do, movies and dinners and traveling with friends and things like that. It all just came to a head, and I'm not sure exactly, of course, why he was divorced exactly, but he just was not doing what adults are supposed to do, which is get a job, go back to work. Then he provided us with a copy of his resume. My husband is a professional in the HR department with a international company, and I am not a professional as far as the corporate world is concerned. I own my own company, and I'm a small business, so I don't have to follow all the rules of large business. But he sent his resume to us for my husband to check over. My husband said, "You're not going to believe this. You got to read this." I'm like, "Well, what do I know about resumes? I hadn't written a resume in 35 years." So I read the resume, and it was seriously, I couldn't believe it was real. I thought he was joking with us. The cover letter was awful, and then the resume itself only had, two companies. Of course, he's only worked for two companies for 30 years, so I get why that happened. But the cover letter was just insane, insane. I have always provided more than 110% in every instance. Well, you can't tell people that. I mean, that just sounds stupid. So I have every time I've ever changed jobs, which, again, he's been with the same company for 30 years, but every time he's changed jobs, he has had to be replaced by two separate people. Well, I can say that the same happened with me because I work my buns off and I'm a good worker. And to get the job done when I left the company, they had to hire two people as well. But here again, more than 25 years ago, since I had to find another job, or since I left the previous job, in fact, is 28 years ago was the last time I had to find a new job. So his behavior just got more and more bizarre as the years went by. Now, he lives in California, and we live in Tennessee, so we only saw him about once a year to once every 18 months on average. So the last time we saw him was in May of this year. He was very quiet. He didn't talk much. He'd do what you asked him to do, such as I went grocery shopping. He was living with my mother-in-law. My husband and I were visiting my mother-in-law, and we went to the grocery store because she had no food in her fridge. And my husband asked Doug, why isn't there any food in Mom's fridge? She doesn't have any eggs. She doesn't have any milk. She doesn't have any butter. She doesn't have any, anything. It was like ketchup and mayonnaise and some coffee creamer. And he's like, well, she just doesn't have any food. I take her shopping on Saturdays, but my car broke down. So consequently, car breaks down, Mom starves. Is that what's happening here? So, we noticed that things were just a little off with him in May. But he was he was brought up to follow directions of elder brother and, his those in authority over him. So when my husband said, "Hey, Jan's gone to the grocery, would you go to the car and help bring in all the groceries?" So he comes to a stopping point in his game. He stands up, he lays his iPad down, and he comes to the car and he brings in a load of groceries, which, in all fairness, was pretty much all of them. I grabbed the last few bags and we were done. But he didn't follow through to help me put anything away. He didn't follow through to ask if I needed any help putting things away. Since, we were going to cook for the family while we were there, and if he wanted to eat with us, he was going to eat with us. But no, no, no. He had his 1 meal a day, and he would go to Costco and pick it up, bring it home and cook it. And tomorrow he'd go to Costco again and pick up another one, bring it home and cook it. So he had this routine. Come to find out, this routine is part of the disease. The overindulgence in alcohol, also part of the disease, also part of alcoholism, but the disease kind of makes you a freak to stay on the schedule. He was beginning to lose his words. You'd ask him a question about, something in the future or plans for the future. Are you going to find a job soon? How much looking for a job have you done last week? Well, I sent out resumes, So we just didn't know what was going on with him. And he, of course, didn't have his job for 4 or 5 years. He didn't have insurance because he wasn't married anymore. And we just didn't know what to do with him. So we figured he was surviving now. He'd survive some more. So, we said our goodbyes and left at the end of that week. And then, after some thinking, we started thinking that David was neglecting his mom. Of course, she was living in the same house. He wouldn't talk to her. She thought he had mental problems. And she would say, I think he has mental problems, but, I got brothers. They're all pretty mental at some points. It's like, I just don't understand that guy. He just, my own brothers, I just don't get him. I don't know what he does with his time. I don't know what he does with his money. I don't, it's not that we spend a lot of time thinking about my own brothers, but it's just, we all think that our siblings are doing weird stuff at some point. And we just thought, again, that he was maybe going through a midlife crisis. He had refused to see the doctor for the better part of 18 months while he still had insurance. And we just didn't know what else to do. He's an adult. We can't force him. We did think, however, about doing a wellness call from the police, where you call the police and say, I haven't heard from him in a few days. He's not answering my phone calls or texts. Can we have you go look and see if he's okay? We thought about doing that, and we probably should have, because he might have got help sooner. But then again, he didn't think he needed any help. Therefore, we just gave in and let him carry on. But because he wasn't going to the store often enough for Mom, and because he would only take her to Target to shop, which Target's great. I love Target. But they don't have a wide variety of food. Walmart has a better variety of food. Some of your private chains like Kroger, Ralph's, Albertsons, Vaughn's, some of these types of places have better produce and meat than Walmart as a rule. Costco tends to have great food, but he wouldn't take her to Costco with him. He couldn't troubleshoot, and we found this out later, that he couldn't troubleshoot because he could have been taking her to all these places and letting her drive around in one of those motorized scooters that has a basket on the front. He could have been taking her to Costco and let her just ride around and pick out food for herself. But he had lost his ability to troubleshoot, to problem shoot. And when something was outside of his realm of understanding, he just shut down. So my husband and I talked, and we thought for a while, I don't want to get him in trouble. But he's not doing right by her. He won't help her when the ants come in the kitchen. They live in California. She had a pool in the backyard. He won't help her clean the pool. So she is having to pay for a pool guy to come to the, clean the pool and add chemicals and stuff to the pool every week. And then he's doing nothing but sitting there playing on his iPad. There are ants in the kitchen. Will he help her get rid of the ants? Not on your life. The lawn needs to be mowed. Does he help with the lawn at all? Does he pull any weeds? Does he plant any flowers? Not on your life. So he won't cook her meals. He cooks his one meal, but he won't cook for her. He's 57 and she's 82. She eats like a bird, or a 4-year-old, literally. If you're putting a little plate together for your 4-year-old, you're putting a tablespoon of this and a tablespoon of that, and that's, or half a sandwich. That's all that a 4-year-old can eat. And he wouldn't help her choose foods. He wouldn't help her do anything. So we thought he was being very neglectful. And to keep him to protect Mom, to keep from getting him in trouble, we just decided to bring Mom here for a visit. Now she has dementia. We think it's of the Alzheimer's type. She's never been diagnosed with exactly what kind of dementia she does have. But she's very forgetful. She's forgotten names and faces and people, but she's kept a lot of her other memories, like nouns and verbs. She's got those under control. So we decided to bring her here to live with us in July. She came here on July the 12th of this year. And that's when things started falling apart for him. He said he didn't need TV. He said he didn't need the internet. He said he didn't need phone. He said, all these things he said he didn't need. So we turned off the internet. We kept some basic TV, just to keep him company. and his mom was, of course, paying for it, and it was a bundle with the phone, so it was cheaper, you know, to keep things bundled up. But we did turn off the internet, and come to find out he may have been using the internet, and now he was stuck with only the games that he had literally bought on his iPad, as opposed to those that are free, and you just download when you want to. And anyway, so the rest of the story I will put in a separate video, but that's just kind of where we left it in July. I'll fast forward to October in the next video. I hope you'll watch. It's crazy but interesting. And if you suspect you have someone in your life, even in their 30s and 40s, who may be having some issues, and they're inexplainable, I ask you to watch. Subscribe if you want. Hit the bell notifications if you want. This is my very first video like this, so I have no idea how it's going to turn out. I'm going to upload it, see if I get any comments, but if you have some comments that you'd like to put down below, please do. But I'm going to continue first off with Doug's story, and then I will field some comments and questions, and answer any questions you have. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.